If you've not been here before, this is a chance to get together. And as we've noticed in my own life, is oftentimes I get up on a Monday morning and the Sunday worship experience seems to have kind of dulled, and I'm thinking about all the pressures of the day and what am I going to do, and this client that, oh yeah, he may still be upset with me from Friday, and all these things that come in. So this is a chance to get together and rekindle connection with God in our work. So I wanted to start off this morning of just sharing a video with you. What is really exciting is to see there really is a faith at work movement that is just hitting all over the country. And so some people have been trying to capture these experiences, and this is just one little experience of a company that as we watch this too, you'll see how they also, along with our topic today, of creating a culture that cares of what they did in their company. So I think you'll enjoy seeing this. If you can flip off that closest switch to you, I think that'll help.
And then, yeah, 1 centimeter. And we'll do, see, I like these right here, but this is too much. It's too deep. It feels like a Lincoln Continental from the 70s. My name is Dave Munson. I am the owner or CEO or president of Saddleback Leather Company. They're going to lean this up like this, up against the coffin. And right now I'm designing my coffin because I think it's cool. I don't want to have like a Dudley coffin. So my feet will be sticking up here. So wherever the feet are, I can't have the pockets here when they put these down. I can't have the pockets touching my feet. In fact, Clint Eastwood, Harrison Ford, they're going to have one of my coffins because they're so stinking cool. And they don't have long to go. I done this funeral recently. And the guy was a really neat guy, and his funeral was like, When I die, I'm gonna have it on like whatever it is, whatever the equivalent of Facebook Live is then. So hopefully millions of people, or probably thousands, hundreds maybe. Let's just say hundreds of people are gonna watch the funeral, and they're gonna hear the gospel. But it's gonna lure them in because of my cool coffin. Wouldn't that be super cool? When I was 19, I went on a mission trip, and I felt like that is what I want to do the rest of my life. I don't want to waste my life. I want to reach people for the kingdom. I just knew I wanted to do ministry the rest of my life. And then someone came up and said, "Hey Dave, we really need someone to go down to Mexico to teach English." And I thought, man, that sounds so cool. So think of all the ministry I could do if I were fluent in Spanish. So I headed down to Mexico, and I wanted a bag to carry my books. So I found this bag maker named Leonel. And because I couldn't find a bag, I went to him and I said, "Hey, can you make me a bag?" I sketched it out and I said, "God, would you help this to be the coolest bag ever?" Ever. I want this to be the greatest, coolest bag, and I want you to get more glory from this bag than any other bag that has ever existed on this planet. Why not? I mean, it's free, just like ask. So I did that bag, and it came back, and man, everywhere I went, people were going, "Oh, excuse me, sir, where can I get a bag like that? Where'd you find that bag? How can I get one of these bags?" I remember laying on the floor in Juarez. I was like, that'd be cool if I could make this into a real business, you know. Oh yeah, that'd be cool, but I have to do ministry, so I guess I can't do that. That's stupid.
Okay, on this, we can do mini totes. Mini duffels, I mean, mini duffels.
Well, what about the medium size?
Great idea.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't want any of this on it. None. I think we used it all up, guys.
I really don't understand why your faith has to be separate. God cares about beauty. He cares.
God makes and creates beautiful things, and so we use really good, high quality materials.
We spend a lot more on our materials because we want things to last.
Everything God does is quality, no exceptions.
We are all about quality. We are all about reaching people, loving on people, and the business has allowed us to speak into people's lives that I know we would have never had the opportunity to do that. People see us on social media, people contact me, and it opens a door to be able to love on people very easily.
I was having a lot of fun on social media. I didn't see it as a ministry, as a way to influence. I was just seeing it as a way to interact with our customers. Since then, we've had a lot of people say, hey, you know, I hate Christians. And I think that you guys are like, probably Christians, I think. And I like you guys.
Hola. Hola. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? Samuel. He's 2 months old. I think he looks like Mama.
Early on, I was like, we need to do something for the workers here and give them a place to drop their babies free. Don't ask for anything, but then also for these kids to be educated there and to get great food and to be loved on and to learn about Jesus, learn about God. So we opened a daycare.
We put the daycare in place, and this guy says, why did you do that? He was like, please, I gotta know. He came up to the office, he was crying, he said, you know, it's changed our lives, and why? Why did you do that? He really wanted to know why. I said, well, it's because God loves you so much. And he loves you so much, he wanted your family to be whole, and so he put it inside of us to do that. And so I can't help it, I want to. It's like, I hope you like it. You know?
Success to me is if people are looking towards God and are drawing closer to Him because of my life, I have had a successful life. Simply that.
So, I started off with that one bag. And for me, it ended up being the best bag in the whole world. The greatest, coolest bag in the world. But when I started Saddleback Leather, it was to reach people. Because I was super short here, but I did not waste my time.
Wasn't that fun, just to see that? And today we get to talk a little bit more specifically about how can we care for people. So we have a privilege today. So I'm going to turn it over to Raelyn. So Raelyn and Michelle and Lindsi, if y'all want to come on up and get comfy up here.
You know, the girls are still a little bit outnumbered. You know, guys.
We'll use this
But
for
we're-
advertising.
but we're-
This is the launch.
So, I know most of y'all, I'm Raelyn, and these are a couple of my friends from Southwest Exteriors, and I'd like for them to just introduce themselves and just tell a little bit about what you do and just a little bit about yourself. You wanna go first, Lynn, or?
My name is Lindsi, and I am 27, from Dallas. I started at Southwest Exteriors back in 2016 as an event rep, where we set up booths at HEB and set appointments, and then moved into the office. I took on the role of the director of first impressions, and then I guess for the last year almost, I have been assisting one of our installation managers in ordering the windows and making sure everything is perfect on the orders and submitting them and tracking them, and so that's what I do for Southwest right now.
She does a great job. My name is Michelle Hodgkiss, and I've lived in Texas for 6 years this month. It'll be my 6th year here. 6 years. So I've been working for Southwest Exteriors for 5 years. Started off as the director of first impressions and have been in different roles within the office. And currently I work in the installation department and help marketing as well as I'm the client experience champion. So I make sure that the client is up to date with their project and every stage of their project, let them know what's going on, and they're very, very happy with that service, knowing at what stage the project is at. And then at the very end, of course, just to make sure that they're completely satisfied with the service that we've given them.
So we wanted to share with you today, they have one of the most incredible cultures when it comes to caring about their people that I've ever seen. And so we just kind of wanted to share a little bit about what that looks like. So when we talk about a caring culture, what does that mean and how does that impact you personally?
I think it feels genuine and it's real, and I feel loved and cared for while I'm at work and away from work, because of the relationships that we all have with each other. We really, really care about each other, and kind of follow up with each other, make sure everyone's doing good.
Yeah, I think, the amount of time that we spend with each other, we spend more time at work for most of us than we do with the rest of our families. So the environment that we're in is actually, it starts from the top. I mean, the steward of the company, Mr. Barr, of course, cares and loves every one of us, and it just flows down and trickles down all the way to out into the field and the guys that are doing the installation, and it's very real. And people take genuine interest in one another and caring, and I worked at a church previously coming to Texas, and it's even better than that. It's really a great work environment, yeah. It's really great.
So real life happens. So how does a culture that generates such a caring culture, how has that impacted you personally, Lindsi? Was there a time that you can tell that you really felt super cared for?
Yes, so around this time last year, I should say, I guess November through April, I was going through a lot with, my grandma had dementia, so she had that for a few years, and it gets worse and worse, and that's kind of hard to witness. So her and my grandpa are in Chicago, as well as the rest of my dad's side of the family, and she took a turn for the worse, and we had to fly there, visit her, ended up having to put her in a nursing home, which was really hard. And then about a month after that, my uncle calls me saying that he has cancer, liver cancer, and he only has about 6 months at that point. So that was really hard. And then, so dealing with, I mean, it was just like a whirlwind of emotions. Things kept happening with my grandma. We're having to fly back up there, come back, and, you know, thinking about my uncle, and he's just losing so much weight, and he looks like he's about 90 years old when he's only like 59. So that was just really hard. And then, you know, everyone here kept checking in on me and making sure I was okay. They always asked how's grandma doing? How's your uncle doing? What's the latest? So that was great. And then out of nowhere, there was, this is like, it's kind of hard to talk about, but in March of last year, 2 of my friends were involved in a helicopter crash that happened in New York. 2 guys I went to high school with when in Dallas. They were the helicopter went down in the East River, and so that was just like, I was just shocked, and
Devastating.
it was just
Yeah.
like that was just awful.
So
And
you had a lot of loss in a very short period.
a lot of loss, the 2 of them, and then about a week later my uncle passed, and then 2 weeks after that my grandma passed. So just kind of bouncing everywhere for funerals, and it was just so hard. But being surrounded by the people that I was surrounded by, and, you know, speaking with you, and just the fact that you're available for us to talk to and to help us through stuff like that was just such a blessing. And yeah, it was just so hard, but everyone was just so thoughtful and so caring, and they just checked in with me all the time throughout the day. And, you know, there were times when I would either like email or text Michelle, because I'm in the front and she's all the way in the back, like, can you come to my desk? And she would come over, and I would just bawl, and she would just take the time out of her day, multiple times a day, like for months, and just like help me out. So it meant a lot.
Well, it was a rough season, and I think everyone in the office just kind of rallied around her, but it's what we do. I mean, you know, we're so close. I can't think of a better work environment. The women, I don't know, I'm sure all the guys here and ladies have worked in an office where you have 8 to 12 women, and some of them don't get along. Well, that doesn't happen where we're at. Every lady in the office loves everyone, and they're caring and kind, take interest, spend time after work together, and we're all involved in each other's lives. So it's so unique just to see that type of environment of care for everyone. And the guys are just gems too. They're wonderful.
So speaking of guys, you work in when we started working together, we were kind of working on women in a man's world.
Mm-hmm.
What is that like, working in a more male-dominated environment? How many ladies are at Southwest Exteriors, first of all?
What do we have, 10 or 12? Mr. Barr?
That's 10 or 12.
Yeah, 10 or 12. And, well, I now work in the installation department, so at one time I was just on it myself. We have another gal that's back there, but it's primarily men, and plus the men in the field are coming into the installation department. And it's amazing. I mean, you know, the guys are loving, caring. I was telling Raelyn that Lindsi and I both know that if something happened to us, let's just say we were stranded on the road somewhere on the side of the road, we know that we could call any one of the guys back there. We could even call Mr. Barr, anyone, and they would come to our aid. No hesitation, drop everything and just come and take care of us. Whatever they were doing, we would be a priority. And even, you know, the guys in the installation department. So to have someone that looks out for you is just so reassuring, you know, that you can trust your coworker, but it even goes further than just trusting. You just know that they genuinely care about you. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. So the multi-generational, I mean, we've got,
Love it.
you've got different ages and stages of life in there. And how is the communication with, here we have our millennial here.
Yes.
What are the benefits of that type of community to work within?
I feel like I can learn a lot from gonna say
Mature.
older folks.
Okay.
Yeah.
The more mature. I can learn a lot from them, and I do listen to their advice and learn from their experiences.
And I feel that Lindsi and the millennials and younger generation that we have working for us have so much to offer. If you just take the time to listen to what they're thinking, where their head's at, the new ideas that they have, and they're a gem to have there. You know, they really are valued, and they have a lot more energy than we do as well. So I've always liked our events team, and those are the young folks that go out into different events that we have, and it takes a lot of energy to do something like that, so you appreciate them. But they have some great ideas. They just need to be heard. So it's a great marriage of all the generations that we have.
It's fun.
It is, isn't
It
it?
is really fun.
Y'all do a lot of different things at Southwest Exteriors to keep that community getting closer and closer and closer. What are some of the things that you would want to share with this group of ways that Southwest Exteriors creates such a caring culture?
Well, we can talk about, we do a Thanksgiving luncheon every year to show our installers how much we appreciate them. And that's fun. I mean, we'll cook and it's just kind of a madhouse in the office. It gets crazy, but
Yeah.
it's really fun. And we do employee appreciation nights, days, where we'll go. I think we just went to the Rampage game, so that was really fun. Before that, went to a Missions baseball game. Super fun.
We've had a whole bunch of different appreciation things. Like a few years ago, we used to do a birthday luncheon. And so anybody's birthday within the month, we would celebrate them. And that was really sweet because then you could say something, you had a moment to say something that you appreciated about that person and just honor them. So we did that. We're never short on
I know.
getting
there's
together
always
and doing
events
things to
going
get
on.
together, or we just, if it's, I wasn't around for Cinco de Mayo, I was out of town, but the previous years we've always had taco bars or just something just to keep everybody together and to have something fun to do.
So they also do some, the women do study groups a couple of times a month. And there was one time where I heard that a question was posed, how many people have experienced healing within that group? There was probably about eight women there, and every single hand went up. So what does that mean? First of all, what does the healing mean when we talk about that? What does that mean in your own words?
I think for every one of us, it was different. It could have been relationship. It could be physical healing as well because we do pray for one another at work. So it could just be growth. I know for me, I have grown so much in my role and I'm a very different person than I was when I first started 5 years ago, and I love it. I mean, I really like the growth, and for healing, I think for me, I coming to Southwest Exteriors, I didn't want to come to Texas, so there was a lot of hurt leaving my family in California. And so coming to a place that I have the work environment that I have, it was like a soothing balm. I mean, it really did help me to stay here and want to be here in Texas, and I love Texas. I was just back there. I just came home last night. I got in this morning. So I told everyone there, I felt the same way I did when I first started working at Southwest Exteriors that I do today. I love it. I love it. It's been,
awesome.
So what does healing, what kind of healing did you go through at
For
Southwest?
me, well, I guess before working there, I was filled with a lot of self-doubt. I didn't know what I was good at or if I was going to amount to anything, and just I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think I was good enough. But, starting in that director of first impressions role and being surrounded by everyone, and I don't know. I feel like a different person, and this August will be 2 years being, in the office. And I feel like I've changed a lot. I feel like I've grown, I've matured. healing for me with all of the things that happened last year. I don't know how I would have made it through without being surrounded by my coworkers and my work family. I don't know, it's kind of scary to think of where I'd be right now without Southwest Exteriors.
Isn't that amazing to hear? I think it's so beautiful. And the rest of the women, if we could have brought all of the women here, and the guys too, but I kind of focus on them, they would have shared some of the same exact comments. And they just had a couple of brand new women join the team. And watching them in amazement that this can really be truth. We went on Scott blesses us on a retreat. We get to go and be together and bond. All the women get to go. And these two new people were amazed at the relationships and the trust that's built. And we think we have to create some grandiose plan or processes or things like that to create this culture, but you don't. It starts up top and it just trickles down, and it's one moment at a time. It's coming along and saying, hey, we're here for you during these hard times. It's coming alongside, and life is going to happen to every one of your people. In fact, they're probably going through something right now, but we get so busy we don't see it. So this culture is one like none other. It truly is. It's a blessing to walk in. You feel the air is light. She said something about one of the things that Michelle does every Monday morning.
Every Monday, she stops at my desk and we talk about what she did this weekend, what I did this weekend, how it was. Every single Monday, every Monday.
I genuinely care, and I just am checking in with her just to kind of get a temperature check of what's going on and making sure that Lindsay's doing okay. But going back to the new people, I wanted to just comment on that, on a couple of the new gals that came in. What was interesting to see is their behavior when they first started, like they behaved how they would normally behave in an office environment, and watch that slowly change to the culture that they're in. More acceptance, more love, be yourself. You don't have to prove anything. We already know you've got it, you can do your job well. So it was interesting to see and just give them the space, because sometimes it's not easy when you bring a new person in and everyone else has been there for a long time and they love the kind of environment we have and someone new's in the mix. But it was just nice seeing that, you just gotta be patient, that slow transformation of acceptance.
They don't have something to prove.
Yes.
It's been amazing seeing the change already.
Yeah.
That retreat was when?
Oh, April, first weekend of April.
Yep.
Completely turned around, so.
Yep.
It's pretty amazing to watch those things happen. And, they, I just lost my thought. It was really good, too. That's what old people do.
The more mature.
Help me. In this community, we did a study, the group of us did a study on the brain, and it was just an interesting study on the brain skills and stuff, but the brain learns by behavior, by watching. It doesn't learn by anything that you read. So when you have a community like this that is teaching the people by how they behave, that behavior changes. And that's exactly what we saw with that.
Yes.
The behavior completely changes. So, anything else y'all want to add? Do we have time, Joe, or?
Raelyn, where did BLE fit into this? I guess I missed that. Because you're talking about your studies, did y'all use the BLE material? Or how did that incorporate?
No, we didn't use the BLE material at first. We just kind of came together. It has evolved into something. I came in however long ago. For me, they've been here for quite a while, and we just kind of got together at lunches, those lunch and learns.
Very
Raelyn,
we just recently became customers of Southwest, and my wife was super impressed. The culture that you're talking about spills over into the customer, and they just feel that, or my wife really was impressed with the touch. And so much so that at the end, they called us up and said, hey, if we did a great job, would you give us a review on Google? And my wife said, absolutely. And she hung up. She said, hey, you have to show me how to do that Google thing. Give a review. So I just wanted to say that because, you know, that culture spills out into, and we didn't feel like we were being played or we were, you know, listening to a script of what you're supposed to. It was very genuine.
So I'm the one that called your wife and asked her if she would like to. That's my job.
Well, next time, could you teach her how to do that?
That's so funny that you said that, because Mr. Barr always wants to take it to the next step. You know, maybe you can go into their home and help them if they need.
Right, that'd be great.
Really, I bought some windows from Scott. It's been at least 15, 18 years ago. So this culture's been there. It's been, you know, the foundation had been laid prior to us buying the windows. And they came and cleaned our windows and they really didn't need to. And so it's something that was unique to my wife and I. It was a blessing. And I really didn't know Scott that much at that time. So.
Let me ask this question. So having that culture at the top, if you were working at a company that didn't have leadership that believed in having that kind of culture, what are some things that you see that you could maybe do to help bring that culture or take a next step in that kind of creating that culture, even if you didn't have support from your boss?
I think the best thing is to just genuinely care about people, and when you ask someone, so how's your day going today? And they say fine. You need to kind of go a little deeper than that, than just fine. So what did you do? How was your weekend? How are the kids? But really take a moment, take a pause to see how they're doing, and get to know them just a little bit, because that's truly what, I mean, I can think of several employees that stopped me in the kitchen, we chit-chatted for a minute, and they said, Michelle, thank you so much for just asking. But it's from the heart, you know, you really want to just see how they're doing and take 2 minutes, 5 minutes, instead of that, oh, fine, okay, good, and walk away. You know, really take time to find out what's going on in their life. People love talking about themselves. Dig a little deeper, see what's going on behind their eyes, see what that face expression is. Dig a little deeper.
For me, I think I would just be myself and hopefully create that safe space for them to be themselves, and you know, not hide behind a mask just because you're at work and you have to be this person. But yeah, just create a connection with people, and hopefully that would kind of carry on and spread out.
It does spread. The changes that I get to see in some of the ladies is night and day. It's just a beautiful thing to see their confidence come back, and get those lies out of our head of who we think we are or should be or something like that. And to see them come and become the person God created them to be is the greatest gift for anybody.
Well, and I think just seeing this and hearing about it, you know, we know what it is when the church is gathered. This is the church scattered. When we get to be in places where there, especially as a community, that's having impact, that's the church scattered. And that is so powerful. And, you know, this was not an expository sermon, but this was a message today. And what I got from it is the simple graces of life that I often pass by, and I really appreciate what Michelle said, is to see what's going on in the eyes, to notice what's happening, and to take a little step further. As Jesus at the woman at the well, he says, could you give me a drink of water? He did, you know, he didn't start off with some sort of expository message. He connected on a human level of human need in what was there. And so as we have a chance to be the church scattered and to be involved in that, and I commend, you know, Scott has been a good example, I think, in our community here of promoting that kind of culture. And he brings in help to do that. And so that's one of the things that we at BLE try to do, is we want to come alongside people and come inside their environments. Because sometimes bringing someone from the outside can be a help. It can be that safe place to talk, especially if there's things that you can't talk about in your environment because what's going on. So you have a chance now to talk more at your table and just be asking God, what is it that from this today, as you go back in your work experience, does he want me to be doing to help stimulate that kind of culture of care? And what can I do, whether I'm in a position of leadership or a position of influence?